If you guys want the fastest way to improve your aim, get some Control Freaks for cheap. Use code Goblin for 10% off and improve your aim today. Link in the description. Yo, what is up guys? It's the Goblin and welcome back to another Call of Duty World War II video. Today's video, we're going to be talking about how to stay stealthy in this game. Basically how to stay off the minimap and how to go unnoticed by your enemies while basically running through their spawns and killing them. Talking about different class setups and the best stealth setup for this game in Call of Duty World War II. Because stealth in this game is kind of unique. Hope you guys will enjoy today's video. If you guys can, drop a like on this thing. I would really appreciate that. 2,000 likes would be absolutely amazing. And I go absolutely off in this gameplay here. Like, I'm just running the spawn. Look at this guy, doesn't even know I'm here because of the stealth class setup. He can't even turn around, and you know, just running the spawns definitely is perfect when you have a stealthy class setup like this. So that's what we're going to talk about today, and I'm very excited. So how stealth works, basically what stealth means is, number one, you want to stay unnoticed by enemies. That's the whole thing with being stealthy. You want to stay off of the enemy's minimap. You don't want the enemies to be able to hear your footsteps. You don't want them to be able to find you with different kill streaks. There's a lot of different aspects that go into the stealth in any sort of Call of Duty game. Of course, when you're shooting people, they're going to notice you're shooting at them. But if you have a silencer, it's going to be a lot harder for people to notice not only where that fire is coming from, but they won't see it on the minimap as well. Now, the weird thing about stealth in this game is that you cannot have the ultimate stealth class setup, because basically either you run the airborne division to give yourself the silencer for the SMGs, or you're running the mountain division, which means you can't get a silencer, but then you get a bunch of different stealth aspects. So it's kind of weird how they did class setups in this game. It is also very weird that you cannot get a silencer on any guns other than the SMGs, and that's only with the airborne class. So there's a bunch of unique different things, and today what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you guys my favorite class to stay stealthy, but then I'm going to give you guys another one that can work with the mountain division and sort of compare the two here and just talk about stealth overall. So essentially the class setup that I like to run to stay stealthy in this game comes down to the SMG. I think that the whole point of a stealth class is to get up in their you don't want to be just camping with it and sort of, oh my gosh, they don't know I'm here. If you're running in their spawns, it's a lot easier. Enemies will just not even notice that you're there, even after you kill like two of their buddies. You saw it like there in the intro. The guy just didn't even turn around because enemies don't know what's going on. Usually when they hear any sort of gunfire, people's first instinct is to check that minimap, and when they check that minimap and they see nothing popping up, well, they're kind of screwed, and by that time you're probably already sneaking up on them from the side or from the back and being able to get that kill. So that's definitely a good thing about these stealth class setups. Now, with the stealth class that I like to run, basically I want to have the silencer. I think the silencer is the #1 key to a stealth class setup, and that's why I am not willing to give the silencer up, and I like to throw on the silencer myself. So to do that, I have to run an SMG, and I have to run with the airborne class setup. Now, for this class setup, you can basically run with any sort of SMG that you want. I find that the top two that work best with this, well, actually there's three: the Type 100, the PPSH, and the MP40. Those three have been working the best for me with those stealth class setups. As far as SMGs, I find those guns synergize very well with the silencer, a lot better than the other ones do, and definitely those are, in my personal opinion, the best ones to run a stealth class setup on. Now, of course, the silencer is only one aspect to the stealth. You also need something to help you stay off of that minimap and help you go unnoticed. Now, of course, you're not able to run the mountain division, which is essentially the whole division made around stealth. So for this class setup, what I recommend doing is running the basic training flanker. Now, this one is so damn good. Essentially, what flanker does is it delays enemy trip mines, and it also keeps you off of the enemy's UAVs whenever you are moving. So basically, all you have to do is be walking or sprinting, and like even at walking speed, you will notice, because on the minimap it will be like a darker grayed out, and you'll notice when you're not able to be tracked. And the thing with this that makes it so fun is that the UAV spam definitely is heavy in this game, not so much in domination because it's only 50 points per kill, but people still get those UAVs randomly just hopping on a flag, getting a kill, and then maybe they rotate, you know, get a few assists. People get UAVs randomly, and especially in game modes that aren't domination, people are spamming UAVs. And the cool thing about flanker is that usually when an enemy gets a UAV, SMG, it's like, okay, it's time to sit back now, the enemies know where I'm at. But with Flanker, you actually want the enemies to get UAVs. I know it sounds stupid, but listen to me here, because then they're going to be able to see all of your enemy teammates, or, well, their enemies, which would be your teammates, and they will not be expecting you to come out of nowhere. And I've noticed when you hear that thing, enemy UAV, a recon plane, whatever it says is now inbound, that's when you want to rush extra hard, because people get comfortable and they trust that UAV too much. Then you pull up on them with the flanker and with the silencer, and I find that that's the times that I can run the spawns the most, is hitting them when they're least expecting it, when that UAV comes in. So it's actually, this class up is so good that you will like when they get UAVs, and this is definitely the best way to go stealthy in this game with an SMG. You'll basically never show on the radar, because you have the only way you'll show is, I guess, if they tag you with the espionage, but I mean, that's like so rare, because you have a silencer on, and then of course you also have the flanker. I guess if you're standing still, you will show, but you're running airborne with a silenced rushing SMG. You're not going to be standing still. If you are, it'll just be for a millisecond, and then you're going to be rushing again and being off of the enemy's radar. Now, the other way to run a stealth classed up would be with the mounted division, and that is because the mounted division, what it gives you is it makes you always invisible to enemy recon aircraft. So flanker is sort of a dumbed down version of that, because you actually have to be moving, even though it doesn't affect you too much unless you really are camping. This one, you are always 100% of the time off the radar with the mounted division. You're also hidden to player controlled score streaks, which can be huge in game modes like hardpoint, where they're spamming score streaks as well, such as, for example, say they're spamming glide bombs, fighter pilots. You just don't show up on those. Well, you show up, but you don't have a round, that red circle around you. So the only way you're going to get hit is if the guy has the best eyes of all time, or if he ends up hitting you in the crossfire. And that's what the mountain vision is good for. And the other thing is that you have completely silent movement. Now, with this silent movement, the enemies cannot hear your footsteps. The mountain division 100% is great for staying stealthy, and 100% for search and destroy. I think footsteps are, you know, the biggest deal in free-for-all and search and destroy, and that's what I'd recommend going over to this more stealth class it up. But the thing with the mountain division stealth class, which I'll show up on the screen right now, is you can't run a silencer with it. So what I'd recommend with this one is, if you want to go for more of an assault rifle stealth class, you can run the mountain division. I just throw on, you know, these work for any guns. You know, the FG42 is the one I just thought about here. With the, I believe that is the quick draw, or what is that, the quick draw, as well as the extended mags, or the grip in the extended mags, something like that. And then I put on scoped, because scoped basically allows me to strafe side to side a lot faster, and whenever I don't use infantry on assault rifles, I definitely need that. Now the thing with this, and what kind of sucks, is you're never going to get the ultimate stealth class. Both of these two different class setups that I've talked about in this game, in this video, are going to give you different benefits. Me personally, I prefer the SMG one, because I think that a silencer and staying off the radar is a lot more important than just having the no silencer, but you're going to have silent footsteps. And of course, that can be traded and invisible to the enemy's score streaks. Of course, that can be traded out for different situations, and that's why in search and destroy and free for all, 100% run the mounted division. But in most objective-based game modes, I definitely do like this class up with the flanker and the silencer, not only because I like to have the silencer on the SMG. I feel like stealth class setups are made for SMG players. They're not made for people who want to sit back and, you know, sit in a corner and just stay off the minimap. That's where we ran into some big problems back in previous CODs, like Black Ops 1 and stuff like that, when Ghost was just so prevalent. Everyone would just use Ghost, sit in a corner, and UAVs were much easier to get back then, so the UAV spam was even more heavy, and people would just surprise you. Everyone would have Ghost, even the campers. And now I think that stealth class setups, you really have to devote your class to this, and that's why I think that people are not expecting as much, and it can kind of work to your advantage if you're able to rush them with the SMGs. And I've had some hugely successful games with this thing. I was dropping multiple 70 kill games with this in domination, and I haven't even given it that much of a, you know, I've used it in TDM a little bit as well as hardpoint, but I think it flourishes even stronger in those different game modes. And with the fact that Prime got this nerf now, you are free to run any of the different basic trainings, because before you were kind of restricted to primed if you wanted to win any gunfights. Now you have none of those problems. I definitely have been rocking with flanker, and it is 100% in my top 5 basic trainings as of right now. I've been really rocking with flanker. I've been really liking ordnance. I've been really liking hunker, and I've also been liking even hustle and energetic a little bit. And there's even more than that. You know, the basic training pool, I'm glad the changes that they made. I wish they made it so you could use 2 basic trainings. I don't know why they made the class setup so limited in this game. I guess you can sort of get almost everything that you want, but for some reason reason they don't want you to have that silencer and other weapons, and that's why for the stealth class setup, definitely going with this submachine gun, with the flanker, and always keeping the suppressor enabled. Of course, once the game starts, for some reason you can't put it in the countdown, but as soon as the game starts and you're sprinting off the spawn, equip that silencer and don't ever take it off if you are using those stealth class setups. Sometimes it'll glitch, and if you like pick up weapons and stuff and then you spawn back in, it'll be off, so just make sure you're double checking. You can hear, you know, the difference in the gun shooting when you have the suppressor on versus when you don't. Hope you guys did enjoy today's video. Definitely give this stealth class setup a go. Either one, of course. I'm really rocking with the SMG one. It's amazing for game modes, and it's an amazing way to surprise the enemies, run spawns, and just, you know, have a lot more freedom. Enemies are not expecting you with this class setup, and it allows you to get some crazy score lines. Drop a like if you guys made it to the end of the video. Sub for Cookie and Don't Looky. That's what it, guys. I'm out. Peace.